Can I beat Terraria on hardcore? For those of you that don't know, hardcore mode in Terraria is just like Minecraft, where if you die, your character gets deleted and you lose everything. I'm going to attempt to beat Terraria on hardcore for the first time ever on normal difficulty since Terraria is already hard enough. Hardcore is not to be confused with the difficulty levels of Classic, Expert, Master, and the hidden difficulty Legendary, which control how much damage enemies do, their spawn rates, and certain pieces of gear and upgrades are locked behind some of these difficulties. This means that I won't be able to get all the gear that I'm used to. In Minecraft, a speedrunner could do this in under 20 minutes, and speedrunners in Terraria can beat the game in just over an hour. But I'm not a speedrunner, and I'm also not very good at difficult video games. But I have something that everyone else has. The indomitable human spirit. But seriously though, it can take me 25 hours to beat the game at my fastest, and I know that I will be playing slow and careful this run or else I will lose it all. I know some of you may be thinking, you haven't posted a lot in a while, or Terraria isn't your usual videos, where's the Minecraft? And so I say to all 10 of you, leave a comment down below. Hello, is this the We're So Back department? Yeah, I'd like to file a claim. Quick disclaimer. I recorded this over 2 years ago, and now I've gone through 2 mics since then, so my voiceover audio will sound quite different. Also, please forgive me for my loud keyboard and mouse. I did not realize they were being picked up while I was doing the original recording. Save and quit so it despawns.
Yeah, that's probably your best bet.
That was close. Do you consider that cheating?
Nope.
We'll quickly go over the rules for this challenge. Rule 1, don't die. Rule 2, have fun. Let's go! For the first few hours of my gameplay, I was on a call with Ryan Hill Gaming and Sugna. We were just chatting about and having a good time. My first priority in the caves is finding a trap item, either a pressure plate or a trap. I find myself a dart trap, and when I hold this in my hand, it lets me see all the wires so that I can know for any traps. I took 9 damage. I insta-recalled on it, but I'm safe now. Oh, I got the boomerang. Strong wooden boomerang. Oh no, another life crystal. This is big. Enchanted boomerang. The gem hook. To craft myself the reinforced fishing pole first. Most important upgrade. I need some ranged damage. Put on the wood armor. Set bonus 1 defense. How do I have 3 defense then? I still don't even know what world evil it is yet. Oh, step stool. Oh. Yep. I just recalled because I was cornered by some slimes. Not because I misinputted on my keyboard or anything. No nurse, even though I've got life crystals. Got the step stool though. Oh, I've got corruption.
I don't know.
I feel like this is a new background for Terraria I haven't seen before. 7 years. No, 8. No, 9.
7, 8 years.
9 years. Yeah.
Ooh, career in the mining industry. I love miners. Children yearn for the life.
Guys, how do I lock the nurse in a room?
What did you say?
How do I lock the nurse in a room?
Like when you're getting a blood test?
No, like in Terraria. I gotta lock her up so she doesn't move.
Something that will change the world. What were those Kanye words that you said earlier?
This is something like the Holocaust.
Oh my God!
Oh man, I'm too poor. Too poor for that. Yes, full set. I build myself a quick little arena and hopefully a little box right above spawn for the nurse to go into. I then begin exploring the desert using the NPC housing trick to try and find a pyramid. And then I see it, like it happens, but I miss it. I just don't see that happen. Make fun of me in the chat. I then begin baby-proofing my spawn area by building a little invasion farm to prepare for the goblin army and any other potential invasions. I also dig out an area for me to futurely grow my herbs and build my potions, and a fishing area. I love fishing in Terraria. I have the Supreme Helper Minion achievement. If you don't have it, Good for you, I guess. Now that I'm ready for any invasions, I go to the corruption and I break an orb to get myself a powerful weapon, and I fight King Slime.
Okay, slime
Let's be
time.
real, this isn't that hard.
I just want the
Next, I
mouse.
go right to the corruption and I start breaking shadow orbs to fight the Eater of Worlds. Now, this is a very bold move considering I'm only at like 200 health, and I'm actually not very confident in this fight because I normally do die on it, but I also play on Expert and Mastered a lot. So, yeah, I'm just playing. This was easy. I had more than enough defense to just tank any hit that the Eater of Worlds would give on me, and I had plenty of damage to just tear through the Eater of Worlds. This fight was really quick, and Classic Mode, or Normal Mode, is actually just so much easier. I love it. I craft some Shadow Armor to improve my defense and mobility from the Eater of Worlds drops. There we go. Defense is not... Wait, what was it before? 19. Up to 23. I then decide to explore the jungle and build a couple NPC houses to future-proof my world. And get better prices from the Dryad. I construct the house very quickly, and I manage to do so without getting hit, because I am very worried about the damage that the jungle enemies will do. After that, I have an Eye of Cthulhu fight to prepare for. Everyone loves Terraria's favorite poster boy. Now, I'm definitely overgeared for this fight. I'm normally good as long as I've just got a good pair of boots and some platforms on any difficulty. So, coming into this with a musket and good armor, I was definitely over-prepared for this. Which you can tell by the hitless first phase and the phenomenal second phase. I was really actually worried about this, but I guess it's been way too long since I last fought in classic mode. I then got distracted and made a to-do list, which I'll never actually come back to and ever do any of it ever, for the next installment of our riveting gameplay. I'm sleeping and waiting for a goblin army to invade so that I can defeat them and the goblin tinker can spawn. Simple stuff. I spend most of the invasion just fishing and dodging the little sorcerer's shadowy balls, and letting the rest of them die to the lava or despawn below me in the caves. And soon enough, the goblin army is defeated, and I get to go and look for the goblin tinkerer. I then make my return to the mines, especially the mushroom caves. Lots of loot in there. And I find some good loot, but most importantly, I find the goblin tinkerer, and I manage to acquire myself the boots and the tinkerer's workstation. Great upgrades for where I am in the game. I continue digging my elevator, going through a spider biome, which will be great for acquiring early hard mode gear and weapons, although I do have to worry about recluses spawning as I make my way down the elevator. Fight the eye again. Easy win, no diff. I begin flattening out an area of land to prepare an Old One's army arena. Not really for the loot or anything, since I'm not really using summons or sentries right now, but because I just feel like cheesing it. The flat space might also be helpful in the future with other bosses, but we'll see. The Old One's army was quite easy, especially since none of the enemies, except the flying ones, could get past the hoiks I set up. Yeah, that's right. A keen-eyed among you might have seen me set up a hoik earlier. I said I was gonna cheese it, you know? And it's not a glitch, it's a feature. Even Redigit themselves said so. The Dark Mage is actually kind of easy, especially considering that the other mobs can't even get to me. I finished and beat the event a few times and collected this loot. Start setting up some snow biome housing and prepare a Skeletron arena. I go to the underground desert, I find a bass statue and an ancient chisel. With my new gear, I decide to reforge them to get the maximum benefits out of them, only to have all my money stolen from the Goblin Thief just to get some minor stat boosts on my meager accessories. With my preparations complete, I prepare to face one of the hardest bosses so far. Sure, I'm not at max health, but with my accessories reforged, I'm determined to at least try. Okay, let's buff up. Curse. Teleport up there. Okay, I didn't realize it would keep going. This is gonna be a breeze then. I shoot the sack of bones into next week, never to be seen again. Explore the dungeon and find the mechanic quickly, where my dog decides he wants my undivided attention and distracts me in the middle of a dungeon where enemies can attack me while I'm defenseless.
Hey, Max, get out from under there. Stop eating my garbage. Why do you have this shoe? Get out. No. Max, I'm in the middle of the dungeon. This is dangerous. Get out of here. I'm... Max, stop it. I'm literally...
I mark every chest I come across using torches to display what they are on the map and get the water bolt very quickly. I grab the cobalt shield from the first chest I open and keep looking for a shadow key. I get into a tough spot, my inventory happened to be full, so I just decided to recall, heal, and store my items at my base. In the underground jungle, I search high and low for the anklet of wind to improve my boots. I don't find it.
Let's just go in
I
here.
down a gravity potion and begin exploring Sky Islands. I find a red balloon, Star Fury, and Lucky Horseshoe. These 3 items will greatly help me in all of pre-hard mode, as Star Fury is a powerful weapon, the Lucky Horseshoe will save me from fall damage, which I've been secretly very worried about, and the red balloon is just a nice accessory to have, especially since it combines with the horseshoe to make a horseshoe balloon. I go mining in the underground tundra to get some more loot. Specifically, I'm looking for some ice skates to upgrade my boots. I find them very quickly, which is great since I don't want to spend any unnecessary time in the optional biomes if I can help it. For those unaware, the Terraspark boots require a long crafting recipe, but they can be made entirely in pre-hard mode. The full crafting recipe requires 9 different base items, such as the rocket boots from the Goblin Tinkerer, some types of Hermes boots found in underground chests, which combine into Spectre boots, an aglet, which is found in surface chests and fishing crates, can also be sold from the underground skeleton merchant, and the anklet of wind is found in chests in the underground jungle to create the lightning boots. These combine with ice skates from the underground tundra to get the frostbark boots. Then we get to the other side of the crafting tree, which hold the water walking boots found in ocean chests and crates, the obsidian rose dropped from imps, the lava charm from lava fishing crates or rare deep cavern chests, which can also be shimmered from magma stone, and finally 20 obsidian to craft an obsidian skull. These items can be combined in any order to craft the lava waders, but I prefer combining the obsidian skull and the water walking boots first. Finally, the lava waders can be combined with the frostbark boots to craft the Terraspark boots. I'm not particularly trying to get the Terraspark boots, but keeping it in mind while I'm playing isn't a bad thing. I go around underground, disabling traps and collecting wires, making it much easier for me to traverse the caves in the future. I'm also using the Star Fury to reveal the location of other caves which I would not have otherwise found. And for those of you that don't know, it's possible to progress in this game without going into the underground tundra and desert at all. The underground jungle is the only mandatory biome where it's only mandatory twice. Plus, if you want life fruits, then you'll have to find them growing on jungle grass. But it is possible to build a farm at your own base. It would just take forever. I finally max out my health with the life crystals I found, and I go from 300 all the way up to 400. And I crafted the frostbark boots. Then, I did some fishing. I created a little wired statue farm using some statues I found. I managed to find a slime statue and a blood zombie statue, plus another random one. I was hoping to get a bunch of gel and maybe a slime staff from the slimes. I wouldn't need to use it where I'm at in this point of progression, but it would still be a cool item. From the blood zombies though, I was hoping for a bloody tear or the portable piggy bank, the money trough. Nothing but banners dropped, and I wasn't even sure if items could drop from statue enemies. I expanded my herb farm, then made my way to one of the most dangerous areas in the game, the underground jungle. I absolutely do not want to be facing the hard mode jungle enemies, especially the turtles. But there is an enemy in hard mode that we absolutely have to kill in order to progress. Plantera. In order to kill her safely, we're going to need an arena large enough to fight her in, and preparing that now is absolutely crucial to a safe hard mode experience. I headed to the dungeon in search for Shadow Key and maybe some dungeon loot. I was also marking off any chests I come across that I didn't already mark, killing every single enemy that I possibly could in hopes that I get another golden key to try and open one of these locked chests. And lucky for me, one dropped right next to a chest with a Shadow Key in it. That makes this easy. Time to leave. My new Shadow Key in hand, I made my way down to the lava-filled section of the world, Hell. I mined some obsidian to prepare for molten armor. I looted some obsidian chests for some major gear upgrades, but was mostly interested in spanning my Hellbridge and mining Hellstone. Hellstone is the next door in progression for me to mine, so I make sure to gather some with some obsidian skin potions. Feels like I'm going way quicker than I normally do in a normal playthrough. I feel that's because I don't take unnecessary risks here. I carefully weigh the risks versus the rewards of every decision I can. I'm not fighting bosses again unless they're actually really easy for me at this point in progression, or if they'll help me advance in my gear or progress in the game. I'm just trying to make smart decision after smart decision, and I've been successful thus far. Using all the hellstone and obsidian I've acquired, I craft myself up plenty of hellstone bars to use for tools and armor. I make sure to craft myself the molten pickaxe, and then craft myself the molten armor set. I also make sure to get the most important part of the hellstone upgrades, the lava-proof bug net. With the strongest gear I can acquire at this point in the game, minus the Night's Edge, it's time I really start preparing for hard mode. I spend a lot of time in the underworld building a long bridge, but it's just planter boxes and platforms. Considering I only have one attempt, I am careless with my arena setup. Almost too careless. Wall of Flesh is one of the scariest bosses in hardcore, due to the fact that you can't run away from him with recall potions. That means no nurse healing, and you get one shot at beating him. Once a Wall of Flesh fight is started, there's only one way to finish it, with one of us defeated. I could just save and quit too, but I'm not going to do that. I know I did it on a green slime when I loaded up the world, but that was just for the bit, I swear. When you compare the green slime and a Wall of Flesh, it's obvious who the winner will be. Come on. So I go to the underground jungle and finish my arena. I normally fight every boss there is when I play the game. This time, I've been ignoring the difficult or unhelpful bosses such as Queen Bee and Deerclops. Deerclops isn't too hard, but the enormous health pool it has compared to the other pre-hard mode bosses is crazy, as it was designed to not despawn when a player dies, meaning that it is meant to take multiple lives for a normal player to defeat it. Queen Bee, on the other hand, may drop some useful items for the Wall of Flesh fight, so it would serve as a good test for my arena. With a nice big space in the underground jungle hollowed out, I begin squaring it off and making it much safer to fight and just exist in. First, I make it into a nice square shape, then I begin replacing all the background walls with player-placed walls to prevent enemies from spawning in the arena while I was fighting a boss. I also do some lava fishing. With my arena in a good enough state, I prepare for the Queen Bee fight. My weapons and armor should greatly outclass the Queen Bee, but I don't let my guard down and fight as well as I can. The Star Fury does great damage to the Queen Bee while she's circling me, and the Dark Lance absolutely shreds her up close. After bullying Queen Bee, I still feel like I'm not quite ready for hard mode. I wait around looking for something to do, some way to prepare for the challenge that lies ahead. I decided that it would be a good idea to stock up some corruption fish, as it might be too dangerous to try it in hard mode. But, in my hesitance, a blood moon spawns. I decided to pick up my trusty fishing rod again and just start fishing up some blood moon enemies. I'm more than strong enough at this point to face them, but I can always cheese them instead. There's nothing I particularly want from the blood moon, but I can't let my guard down as it can still be a dangerous event with how many enemies spawn. During the blood moon event, I also make sure to collect all the death weeds that have grown. A lesser known fact in Terraria is that death weeds can grow on any blood moon night, as it is considered a full moon, and death weeds only grow during full moons. If you knew that, congratulations, you are very knowledgeable about Terraria. Once I'm sufficiently bored of fishing on the surface, I decide to go fishing in the underground jungle to get some variegated lard fish, a key ingredient for summoning potions. The high defense of the molten armor is enough to reduce incoming stingers down to 1 damage, letting me ignore them and have my minions fight for me while I fish. Other good jungle loot can be found in jungle crates, and that would just be a nice bonus. Not wanting to let too much unnecessary time pass, which could potentially spawn another event, I grab all the potions I can and head down to the underworld to face potentially my greatest threat yet. About as prepared I can be, with the best armor available at the time, and some of the strongest weapons in pre-hard mode in my inventory, I summon the Wall of Flesh. I got the Breaker Blade and the Summoner Emblem from the Wall of Flesh. Now, quick quiz. What's the first thing that you do in hard mode? Is it A, break altars, B, Farm spiders for spider fangs. C. Stay in the underworld and beat the wall of flesh again. It's a trick question. If you answered any of these, you would normally be right. But I went to look for my shimmer biome and create a pylon there for easy traveling. I get some permanent upgrades, such as the gummy worm, arcane crystal, vital crystal, and ambrosia. I also reforge my summoner emblem into a warrior emblem. I would normally quite enjoy a similar playthrough, but I need all the extra defense I can get, so the melee class is a must. Nah, I'm just kidding. But wouldn't it be funny if I was serious? I expand my herb farm to include all the types of planter boxes, since there is one type that the dryad sells only after the wall of flesh is defeated. I make my way down to the spider biome in my elevator, where I let my old one army sentries deal with the black recluses for some easy farming. I farm for around an hour, hitting a rare double poison staff dropping back to back from 2 enemies. I keep farming and get enough spider fangs to craft the weapons and the set, getting me some early hard mode gear. The spider biomes also happen to be in the underground corruption, so I got a few souls as well. With those souls, I craft a key of night and fight a corrupt biomimic on the surface. I get the chain knives, a pretty good melee weapon. I reforge it a few times and receive a sufficient power boost at the start of hard mode. Return to the underworld, kill the tax collector, purify the next tax collector, fight a mimic, defeat the wall of flesh again, expand the jungle housing, fight some wyverns for souls of flight, then fight the wall of flesh again. I head to the underground corruption and I find the wizard. I finally go and break some altars in the corruption, blessing my world with cobalt, orichalcum, and titanium. I go on a little mining trip, grabbing some cobalt ore and finding a band of regeneration and a gold chest, allowing me to combine it with a philosopher's stone I got from a mimic earlier to craft the charm of myths. Stopping partway through my mining session to farm in a blizzard for some frost cores, and on my first ice golem, a frost feather drops. I try to craft the frozen wings immediately, but I forgot that I need a mythical anvil to craft the wings, so I return to mining to get hard mode ores. And during my little mining trip, I find the skeleton merchant and purchase the slap hand, one of the greatest knockback weapons in Terraria. I return to the surface, turn all the cobalt and orichalcum into bars, and craft myself the orichalcum anvil. I craft a full set of cobalt armor, which greatly improves my defense and gives me some major stat upgrades. I change one of my alternate loadouts into a mining loadout, with the mining pants and the chest alongside the mining chisel and a few other spare accessories I have. I also craft the cobalt naginata and cobalt sword, since I have a lot of cobalt. I've never crafted those weapons before. I do remember to craft the frozen wings, and I create a really long minecart track to fight Queen Slime with. I come across a few gelatinous crystals, and I prepare for my first hard mode boss. Like, where were you when King Slime was defeated? Wait, I remember something about the spirits of light and dark being released after defeating the Wall of Flesh. Was the Queen Slime imprisoned? Does that mean she couldn't help the King Slime? Are they even married? Is she a queen of a different slimedom? Does she even know he was defeated? Beat Queen Slime using just the minecart, and I'm rewarded with the Blade Staff and the Gelatinous Pillion Mount. These are the only 2 items I really wanted from Queen Slime, meaning I have no reason to fight her again. Except, on normal difficulty, there's no Shield of Cthulhu, and by extension, no dash until post-Plantera dungeon. That is, except for one thing. The Crystal Assassin set dropped by Queen Slime. I decided to fight her a few more times, since it went so well the first time, and I have a few summon items. I fight her more fairly in her first phase, but cheese her on the minecart whenever she transitions to her second phase. I get more and more confident as I continue to defeat her, getting myself the chestplate, which I just don't pick up. I only noticed this in editing. I get the helmet and the pants on the next one, and keep fighting her for another chestplate drop, since I think she hasn't dropped one yet. I fight her 3 more times until I've collected the full set. I equip it, as it gives great movement speed bonuses, slightly increased defense, good all-around bonuses for most classes, and most importantly, gives me a dash. I want the Terrorblade! I go to craft the Blade of Grass, the Volcano, the Lightsbane, and I need one more, the Muramasa from the dungeon. So, I get the Muramasa. I get the Muramasa. I get the Muramasa. You know what, who cares?
There it is.
Threw a spell tome into the Shimmer to get Advanced Combat Techniques Volume 2. I thought I could get the first one by throwing it in again, but you can only get that through Blood Moon Fishing, so the second volume will have to do. I craft the Knight's Edge at a Corruption Altar, and while I'm there, I decided to dip my rod into the water and do some fishing. Man, I love fishing. I then spend a lot of money reforging the Knight's Edge, realize I don't even have to, because I've got great weapons right now, and go with good enough. I fight Skeletron Prime, craft the True Excalibur, go to my Plantera arena that I made in pre-hard mode, do some underground jungle fishing, fight the Destroyer, true melee style. Definitely not close at all when the destroyer gets down to its last 1000 health. Then decide to fight the twins immediately in the same night due to how quickly the true Excalibur shredded through the destroyer. This fight's also true melee if you count the chain guillotines as true melee. Oh, I forgot I had a blade staff summon. Never mind, it's not true melee anymore. The run's ruined. Let's all go home. I craft the True Knight's Edge, a great weapon despite being outclassed by the Terrorblade almost immediately. I don't have enough hallowed bars, but night's running out, so I decided to try the Old One's Army event. It carries over till nighttime, and I spawn in the Destroyer. It's almost like I'm forgetting that this is a hardcore run sometimes. I also managed to forget that the Destroyer damages the Eternityr Crystal, making the Old One's Army event essentially impossible, but ending it early. I decided to farm the Old One's Army a few times, gathering plenty of Defender medals. I buy the jetpack from the Steampunker, which is a slight upgrade to my wings. Thinking of upgrades? I greatly deliberate over the Squire armor and the Hallowed set, but I come to the conclusion to mix and match sets, having the Squire helmet equipped in my vanity slot, also switching it in for if I need extra healing. Spawned in Queen Bee by accident, I did. Then I prepare my buff potions, break a Plantera ball, and begin to fight to trim the weeds from this world. I know that my arena is just a big rectangle, and that I don't have an Osagoth tunnel.
Osagoth tunnel mentioned! Woo!
But I think I'm confident in the fight enough to win it without one. I win the fight with ease, but for a reason I can't recall, I decide that one plant kill wasn't enough. Maybe it was on my mind how many people refer to Plantera as a MILF, and it made me angry just thinking about it, forcing me to take my anger out on the Guardian of the Jungle. Maybe there was an abundance of Plantera bulbs nearby and I just felt like it. Maybe I was thinking of Plants vs. Zombies and how the zombies felt facing a Chomper and a Pea Shooter combined. I'll never know, since I've long forgotten my intentions and never wrote down any notes or said a word the whole time I was doing this. So engulfed in rage or autism. Not that I have autism, but even if I do or do not have autism, I would never get it diagnosed, because what do you mean the doctor who does the diagnosis is just some person who could subjectively decide whether or not I have it based on a spectrum that spans so many possibilities and behaviors to drastically altering my life and personal image forever? No thanks, I'd rather just be me, and if I happen to have autism, then sweet, I'm still me. If I don't have autism, also great, because guess what? I'm still me, and I don't have anyone telling me what I can or can't be. This goes for any other diagnosis from therapists for things like ADHD or whatever people are talking about on the internet these days. Like, what do you mean I should just trust a total stranger with my personal life and info and simply believe in them, potentially resolving problems and inner conflicts? No thanks. I'd rather just bottle everything up and deal with it myself, which would later be took out on my future wife and kids, like a man. That wasn't me saying all that. That was Waffle Time. Definitely Waffle Time. Just quoting some classic Waffle Time right there. No source or anything, just trust me, bro, he said it. Definitely not distracted in the slightest. I may have glossed over a solar eclipse there, which I may or may not have summoned with malicious intent. I also built myself a little pond in the Hallowed to fish up some delicious fish to craft life force potions. I mean, look at that fish. Who doesn't want to try and just break their teeth gnawing on that bad boy?
A little golem boy went to the market to meet up with his 13-year-old online friend. Except the little golem boy wasn't little at all. It was an old man. Little golem boy was surprised to see that we were waiting there for him, and boy did we give him a lesson that he'll never forget. He also won't remember it because of the severe trauma and brain damage and onset dementia we inflicted upon him in self-defense, letting our violent tendencies be fully released, knowing that courts would side with us for beating up a man with hobbies that would get even Dan TDM demonetized if they were even mentioned. I, however, am not even monetized yet, so I have no problem beating him up publicly. Which brings me into my epic like and subscribe section of the video. I just reached 100 subscribers recently. I'm so thankful over that. I'm really happy to reach a milestone like that. It was the positive comments on my posts and reaching 100 subscribers to help me get back and finish this video. 2 years, going on 3 years, but it's getting done. This video wouldn't be here without you, so be sure to like and subscribe. I curb stomped Betsy, and then I gently laid down the Empress of Light, tucking her in and making sure the bed bugs don't bite. This may allegedly, hypothetically, maybe my favorite boss fight, but there is no evidence of this anywhere. I fight lunatic cultists and do the pillar events, which I definitely wasn't shaking in my baby seal leather boots. Quote from Megamind, my favorite hero with a complexion of a common primary color. Impending doom approaches, and I now have to prepare myself for the final battle of the playthrough. It's either me or Moonlord. The final battle of the playthrough. I lied. It wasn't the final battle. I fought him again. I also corrected the Zenith somewhere along the way, but I actually wasn't recording for that part, or I lost the footage. I know, it sucks. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. At least I'd already beaten the challenge before I crafted the Zenith. Well, I would have had to anyways. Come on, it's the final sword. You have to get. Wait, did I craft the Zenith? What? How did I do that? Did I get the Meowmere and the Star Wrath from the first Moonlord? I'll have to check that. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below what you want to see from me next.